Through the generous contribution of Dr. Lewis's family, we're very fortunate to be able to share with you these timeless recordings of Dr. M. W. Lewis, a self-realized American yogi. Dr. Lewis was Paramahansa Yogananda's first American disciple and dearest personal friend. The wisdom Dr. Lewis imparts through these teachings will give you a dynamic and practical insight into the ancient science of yoga as taught by Paramahansa Yogananda. This lecture's title is How to Work Creatively and was delivered in San Diego, California on November 17, 1957.
Our subject this morning, how to work creatively. As Mr. Cook was reading the story about the hornet's nest in the religious organization of which Master was speaking, that, of course, sometimes is true. But if you are going to work creatively, that's one thing you have to do, is to be able to rise above criticism. As the Master once said, he says, if you walk in the middle of the street, everybody throws apples and tomatoes and everything at you. But if you keep in out of sight, then you go along peacefully. But if you have received something, especially from self-realization, isn't it rather selfish to keep it to yourself? And so, in my own case, as the Master has been so good to me, and that's the only thing he asked me to do. He says, if you enjoy self-realization and it helps you, will you help others to get it? I said yes. And from now I can say, in spite of criticism, that will not hurt us. If you want to work creatively, never mind the criticism. All you've got to worry about is God pleased with you? And if you have that, nothing else matters. Mark that right down. We're here for what purpose? We're here to go back to God. That's all. That's the main purpose. Plus, we have to do a task here, no matter what it is. So if you want to work creatively, get out of the rut and work for God alone. And if people talk about you, let them talk. If God is pleased, nothing else matters. And that's what I have found out. If God is with me, nothing else matters. And that applies to every one of his children, because we're here to go back home to him, to return home to God. And he has sent the channel of self-realization to us particularly through the channel of our Master, who sacrificed his life for so many. Isn't it the least we can do, in spite of all adverse criticism or anything, is to do and work for God that others may be helped as we have been helped? That's working creatively. That's working not in a rut, but from the inner viewpoint of the soul, the inner inspiration of the soul. And what is the soul? A ray of God within each and every one of us. So let us not forget that. Let's not be little automatons, afraid to do this, afraid to do that. Let us say, God, is this what you want me to do? He says, yes, do it. If he's pleased, nothing else matters. And so that little story reminded me of what the Master said. If you walk in the middle of the road, yes, you'll get the tomatoes, but you'll get the grace of God, and that's the greatest thing. And so, no matter what your work in the world is, no matter where your karma has brought you, no matter what it is, work creatively. Work creatively. Start right there. Don't think, well, when I get out of this job I'm in now, then I'll start working creatively. Start right there. Start right there to do something that will help you to help your own self and then also help others. That is, start to right now, wherever you are. Not wait till conditions are better, then you won't get started. Start right where you are to get out of the rut. To get out of the rut of being an automaton, governed by environment, habit, and latent impulses. Get out of that. Break that by getting the inspiration of your soul. Then you will not work from karmic impulses. Karmic impulses are those things which make us automatons. We get up in the morning and we start out and we do this, we do that. Why? Because we're following karmic impulses. But if you challenge yourself, introspect yourself, and then start to work creatively, you will not be governed by these karmic impulses, but you will lay up a new set of impulses, creative impulses which come from the inspiration of your own soul. That's what we must do if we are to get out of this rut of custom and convention. And you check yourself and see how much you do independently every day. Master used to say, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, go to work, go back, go to bed, get up, do the same thing over again. That's being an automaton. We do not want that. And so these newly awakened creative impulses come realized by following the inspiration of your soul or independent action. You see, automatic action doesn't give you progress. You're an automaton. But when you deliberately look within and contact the presence of God and then act creatively, then that's independent action. Then you will progress.